Halo Trek Episode 7. Captain's Log. Stardate 7490.35. Saxon is now on course to Earth once again after our brief holding mission at the Juno Gate. Everything seems to be running orderly and properly. Have the entire ship crew using the exoskeletons. We have also complied with the new directive from Starfleet regarding our uniforms. Everyone is in black uniforms with a gray collar and new colorful insignia. The Neutron is remaining at the gate. End of Captain's Level 1 log. I heard my door chime. Enter, I said. It was Sub-Commander Roland. I noted that the memo had gotten to shipwide about the change in rank insignia. The rank pins were now in the color of their service. Sub-Commander Roland had two blue squares sitting behind a gray square, all this indicating his rank was Lieutenant Commander or Sub-Commander. This was backed by a gray collar on a black uniform. This was within keeping of Starfleet Command's uniform authority. What can I do for you, Sub-Commander? I asked after a brief salute. This report is such that I wanted to give it to you face to face, sir. It's rather troubling to me. Well, I'm waiting, Sub-Commander. Out with it. I have Salata and the other personnel that were on the spacewalk on the previous day. I have them confined. Wait a moment, Commander. What do you mean, confined? They're in the brig, sir, after having exhibited some rather strange activities, like... Well, let me explain. Everything was fine after the spacewalk, and we returned. However, either in Halo or in their own human bodies, they seem to be acting suspiciously, and, sir, they're just not themselves. I'm not the only one that feels this way, sir. Your security chief feels the same way. I told Lieutenant Corinthos that I wanted to speak to you directly. That is why she did not report directly to you herself. And, sir, part of this is the fact that my crew was out of communication for a brief period. I do not suppose that you have suspected the Halo simulation system in any way, have you? I asked. The Halo system and their androids check out. It is their psychological systems that do not check out. Have you called the doctor about this? I asked. No, sir. I wanted to come directly here to report this. I stopped. I used my communicator to contact the doctor. Dr. Nolan, this is the captain speaking. I need you to report directly to security and talk with the security chief in regards to two personnel that are located there that need to be looked at. Aye, Captain. On my way, said the doctor. I returned to the bridge and told Tabitha that she was in charge. I was feeling better than I had in a long time. I gave the credit to the exoskeleton Halo system. I was getting it all the proper exercise this way. I was in the Halo simulation and also seeing an overlay outside. Therefore, I was using my own human eyes for a change, even as the exoskeleton was causing me to move and at the same time keeping me from floating away. The X5 exoskeletons had an extra boost to their retro rocket systems. It would get quite noisy at times, however. They very effectively rocketed through the corridors. Inside the simulation, I was walking down the corridor, of course. I entered the security office and spoke with Lieutenant Corinthos. Captain's chair, said Corinthos. What? Oh, excuse me, sir. I was talking about something else. What do you need, sir? Well, I'm here about the condition of the personnel after the spacewalk. The personnel seem to be inhabited by some entity that they picked up out there. I cannot state in any other way, sir, said Corinthos. I encountered the doctor leaving the holding cells. Wait a moment. Report your findings, Sub-Commander, I said. There's nothing physically wrong with them, sir. However, psychologically, they've been exhibiting something very suspicious. Can you describe this without me going into the cell and re-interviewing them myself? I asked. They seem to be having trouble with the English language, sir. It seems to me that they are struggling with long-term memory as well. Salata insists on being called Pilot Salinas for some reason, while Chief Lisa Bledsoe thinks that she is the captain of the Neutron. Bledsoe is insisting on speaking to someone called Ningon B, and at other times trying to describe this person as a brown bee. Salata wants to speak to the Ladmira of the Nexignot, or a Dominkaita Tirap, something like that. To say it's strange is an understatement, sir, said the doctor. Indeed, I agree, I said. Oh, and by the way, do they seem to be exhibiting any hostile activity or any actions like that? No, sir. They cannot seem to grasp the use of the Halo system, however. Monitor them and do what you need to do regarding psychological issues. We do not have a ship's counselor, of course, so once we reach Earth, we can send them to Starfleet Medical. Right, said the doctor. Back on the bridge. Sometime later, I was on the bridge once again. Sub-Ensign Carr, in communication, said, Captain, our sensors are showing... Wait a moment. We're also getting a communication from the Neutron. Put it on main viewer. Let us hear it, I said. On the view screen, we saw Captain Strahan and LeBrook in the background. Captain Steinway, alien ship, has come through the gate. It seems to be on course for the Saxon. You said alien, Captain Strahan? It does not appear on any of the Starfleet registry, nor anything I've ever seen before. Sub-Commander Hatfield said, We are tracking it on sensors now, sir. It's moving very fast, much faster than anything we've ever seen. Probably about sub-9 of sub-light speed, sir. Wait a moment, I said, speaking once again to Captain Strahan. Could you describe it? Well, basically, it's white, but it's an orb, sir. It seems to be a ship. However, it's round. That's it. Okay. We certainly do not have any ships that move that quickly, I said. Yellow alert, I said. Put the focus of the view screen on that alien ship as soon as it gets within range. Aye, sir, said Carr. I watched the blackness of the view screen and a screen within the screen was plotting the course. Suddenly there is a white-colored dot in the middle of the view screen, getting larger. I looked at our speed, and it was currently 5 of a possible 6 of sublight speed. Ops, ops, get ready to navigate out of its way. It's moving that quickly, so it could just plow right through us. Aye, aye, sir, said Lieutenant Byerman Ops. Corinthos to bridge. Sir, the personnel under observation are acting very strangely and starting to become agitated. Corinthos, stand by, I said, keeping an eye on the rapidly growing light on the main viewer. The ship, ball-shaped, was white in color and becoming quite large now, and then seemed to stream past us. It did a wide curve before turning back in the direction it had just come. Bridge, this is Corinthos. The prisoners are saying that they were captured and are now free. Acknowledged, I said. Make sure that the doctor is aware of this and report as soon as you know more. I looked over at Tabitha Green and then at my intelligence officer. Are we all on the same page here? Are we thinking the same thing? I asked. My intelligence officer, Hatfield, said, some sort of mind transference, maybe? Sounds interesting. That's all I can come up with, said Tabitha Green. The Saxon was apparently in the wake of the alien ship as it departed. We were all thrown to the right to the point of asking if anyone was injured. Everybody okay? This is the doctor. We've had at least 3 walk-in patients because of injuries. I mean, sir, they floated in patients. You know what I mean, sir. Right, doctor, I said. Keep us advised. Steinway out. Captain's Level 3 log. Stardate 7490.598. There were at least 4 total patients suffering from minor injuries from gravitational wake-like waves from the alien ball-type ship. This was after the alien encounter, probably one of the first a Starfleet captain has logged so far. The doctor has reported that our crew members and security are seemingly back to normal. Salata reports that an alien presence overtook them, and they were taken to a place where they were questioned, then released. That, of course, was the previous day, and not spacewalk thing. They called themselves the let me see if I can say this correctly. Labril-der Froth Tayev, or something more like, in translation, the builders of the orb, by meaning. We are continuing on course to Earth. We reported all of this to Starfleet Command and are waiting any further direction from them. End of Captain's Level 3 log. I continued to monitor the situation with the alien spacecraft. I was currently in the Saxon's main lounge. There was not much chance that we would encounter it again, I suppose, since we had departed the area of the gate on our way back to Earth. And I was mindful of the fact that the neutron was holding at that location. If anything threatened the neutron, Starfleet would be immediately turning us around, yet we would need to find a starbase and refuel. The ship's emergency klaxon started sounding, and there was a large explosion in the ship someplace as the power went out. I was in weightlessness, looking around for emergency lighting. I made my way to the door and to the corridor, trying to find a way to the bridge. I joined up with my first officer, Tabitha Green, and we made our way to the bridge. We were out of Halo because Halo was not functioning. Our exoskeletons seemed to be functioning, however. Emergency lighting came back on along with the computer. Computer, give me an estimate of damage and casualty report, I said. There are approximately 45 crew members missing and an equal amount of crew quarters uninhabitable from damage. An android had put an emergency patch on a bulkhead in the bridge, allowing us to regain control of the environmental systems. We were still in a complete weightlessness for the moment, just floating here. Some of us were strapped in. Engineering, this is the captain. Over. This is Commander Strawn. Engineering, go. How soon can we be underway again and on Halo? We're about to restore the Halo system. There seems to be little damage to the computer, and we are at sublight as far as speed goes. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Anything we can do from the bridge, let us know. Over. Will do, sir. Over. Steinway, out. I knew for sure that one of the personnel that was missing was Lieutenant Roth. I believed he was the ops officer on the second shift. The entire second shift was gone in every posting that I could figure out. Suddenly, I said, full stop, all stop. All stop, Captain, said the person at the ops console. We will probably need to backtrack a ways in case someone managed to be in a spacesuit, I said. About an hour passed after this, as we waited for more information. We found that one person waiting back there was Lieutenant Roth. I greeted Lieutenant Roth as he entered the bridge. You're one lucky person, I said. Basically, Captain, said Roth, everyone else on the ship were not in, well, at least as far as my shift and my crew, we were not in a spacesuit. I do not know what warned me, but I placed myself in the spacesuit outside of Halo, in my body, in my crew quarters. I thought about it, and I sort of understood. Lieutenant, were you not in the new exoskeletons? Sir, no. We had already gone on shift, and we were all in our standard configuration as far as Halo was concerned, using androids on the bridge and leaving ourselves, our bodies, in our quarters, which may have contributed to some loss. I understood, I said. Most people will leave their human bodies strapped in their quarters and then go into Halo in the simulation and do their work. However, this has changed with the exoskeleton which a person wears on their arms and legs, so they would be able to travel around and also be a part of the simulation and appear as if they're walking rather than floating. Captain's log, stardate 7491.175. A full search of the ship has been completed. There were no other survivors besides Lieutenant Roth on the second shift. Many crew sections, including the crew quarters in some areas, had their bulkheads blasted out. It is the belief by the people in my engineering section that this was a result of the rapid departure of the nearby flyby from the alien ship. Some others suspected that it was intentional because it seemed very selective as far as the quarters, the crew quarters that were now destroyed. Why was it only the personnel on the second shift? Why not anyone else? That did indeed seem to be selective. Starbase 12 has been notified that we are going there first before returning to Earth, primarily for repairs. End of Captain's log. This is the end of this episode. I am Eugene, son of Douglas. Thanks for listening.